I'm here for the benefits of all sentient beings, to stop their suffering, all kinds of suffering, and to become Buddha. I'm receiving the teaching for all sentient beings, my mom and dad, working on studying. And become Buddha for all the benefits.
Yeah, what are you chanting?
What, Rinpoche, are you talking to me?
Yeah, you're chanting something, right?
I was making the aspiration, receiving your teachings today for my mom and dad and all sentient beings.
Thank you.
Living.
Good morning, everyone. Ready to...
Morning.
Opening prayer. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstacles who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and nations, may the experience of happiness be separate from suffering, and the several ways establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstacles who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and nations, may the experience of happiness be separate from suffering, and the several ways to reach them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Dala Damwara Zebeda, no Bara Zebege, Tarba Dam Damjen Jembe, Barde Jubara Seba, Damje Jeso Zebe, Mananga Danyambe, Zemjen, Damje, Dewa Dande, Dongara Danjar, Nyurdu Lana Meba, Yanda Bara Zobe, Zanjo Rumbo Jedo Baraza. Those under achieving enlightenment are perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. Until death are perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. From now under this time tomorrow are perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. We take refuge in the Kandaru Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of the mandalas of Yadams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dhakas and Dhakinis and the Dhamma gardens, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Under I attain the heart of enlightenment. I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the example of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embodied enlightenment and the progress on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, giving birth to bodhicitta and applying myself to complete the stage of the path. In the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached by the merit of Janarastra and other good deeds. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. This 7-lamp prayer, we do the Tibetan. Jenye Sedai Zojen Jede Na Di Son Shebai Meye Zinge King. Dake Male De Dai Dam Je La Le Dai Nga Ye Dam We Sa Je Wo Zang Bo Jube Mon Lain Dop Dai Ki Jarwa Dam Je Ye Je Ngon Som De Shenge Der Ni Le Rai Do Ba Ye Jarwa Ken La Rab De Zang Ze Lo Durje De Na Durnye Sanje Nam Sanje Seje Winai Yubada Tetar Chije Yena Maliba Tamje Jarwa Dage Kanwaramu Teda Ngawai Meze Jamzo Nam Yangje Yenlai Jamzo Dragenji Jarwa Kenje Yonde Rabju Jeng Dewara Shipa Tamje Dagedu Meto Tamban Tingwa Tamba Dang Sirnyen Namdan Suba Dongjo Dang Marmen Jodan Dube Tamba Ye Jarwa Deda Lanen Chubaraje Nabza Tamba Namdan Jumjo Dang Seme Pemara Nyambada Kuba Cheparan Pagben Jogenji Yarwa Deda Lanen Chuparaje Chupa Kana Lami Jachewa Deda Yarwa Tamje Layamu Zambo Julai Debe Dobdaike Yarwa Kenla Sansaran Chuparaje Duja Shedan Tumo Wangene Ledang Adan De Yin Ye Ji Jang De Ba Da Ge Ji Ba Chin Che Ba De Da Dam Je Da Ge So So Ro Sha So Je Jarwa Gen Dan San Je Se Ran Jar Nam Dan Lob Dan Mo Lob Dan Ro Wai Gen Je So Nan Kang La Yang De Da Gen Je Ji Se Da Ye Rang Kanai Sochen Jeden Romeda Sancho Rembara Sanje Majani Gumbo Deda Dage Tamje La Kolo Lana Meba Gowago Nyangen Dawar Yigen Deda La Droa Gen La Binjen Deveser Karbai Jenge Dirnye Jobayang Dage Tamora Jezoraje Sanzer Wadan Jujen Shawadan Jisa Yaran Gorjen Zorwaye Gewa Junze Dage Jezaba Tamje Zobe Zanjo Zengo. The ground is sprinkling with the scented water and strewed with the flowers. It is adorned with the Meru, the spring mountain, the four continents, and the sun and the moon. As the Buddha fair, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fairs. To the Lama who possesses the Tirikayas, I offer altar, inner, and secret offerings. With my body, worth, and all that is visible, please grant me the supreme realization and enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through postations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Rena Mandala Panzamanga Samanda Savarana Samaye Ahom. I echo refuge, honoring of the world. Your fame provides the 3,000 words. You are the victor, Vajradhara. With adored, I bow at the feet of Father Jigni Sungo. Continually, I think of no one but you. Compassionate one, grant your blessing. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the unlimited nature of mine. Please stand aware of the dharma of the two vehicles and their combination according to this possession and likewise the mental capacity of sentient beings. So now we go to Chinrezek Sadhana, page 24. In the center of a pure M of a portala, brilliant white, on a lotus and a modest head, I appear in the form of a noble Avalokiteshvara, white and radiant, with one face, 4 arms, and 2 legs. My first 2 hands are joined at my heart, and the lower 2 hands are crystal rosary and a white lotus. I have silk and jewel ornaments, and my seated legs are crossed, and adorning my crown is Lama Amitabha, Buddha of boundless light. All around the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas gather like clouds. From the Om, Ahom at my tree center, stream out rays of light, in what in the house of wisdom deities, who dissolve indivisibly. In the center of my heart, on a lotus and the moon sits, is the syllable surrounded by the mantra garland. From it, legs stream out, making offering to the noble ones and purifying the obscuration of all beings. the whole environment become the realm of a Mont Portala. For that effort is the form of a great compassionate one. All songs, speech of the six-syllable mantra, and all thoughts of the wisdom mind of emptiness and compassion, all of the genuine nature beyond grasping and all providing, I recite the mantra. Tibetan Trudagwe Jingam Boda La Yevi Ravgar Pema Dave Din Din De Ranyen Bagbai Jinri Zayje Go Kazara Sharje Saye Shamye Ba Tambo Zanye Dogara Dharmo Jar Oma Nije Shendren Bekara Nam Tardan Renjin Jinden Jerong Yo Jewo Lama Oba Nebe Jin Korde Sanje Sansen Trendarar De Nezong Onga Hongge Wuzur Je Yishe Lazo Jintang Nime Dem Towe Bede Den La Yege Re Tentara Ngajen Ringwe Korwa Le Hongzhi Pangchuan Roken Zhebai Jong Xinkang Tamjie Rewo Dale Xing Nangwa Tamjie Tuje Qianbi Go Zha Tamjie Yige Chukwe Song Zhengdo Tamjie Donye Ningji To Zime Chabdara Nyume Ngangne Da Om Mani Padme Hum 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 Om Mani Padme Om Mani Padme Hum 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 Om Mani Om Mani Padme Hum 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 Tangke Doje Jaje Reisen Rong Yin Je Me Do De Je Bong Jong Ba Sergio Lembo Tavere Jibe Gajaje Yarbe Jala Zanzelo Dojin Janjin De Lo Naroda Marba Mela Jije Gambo Bai Wamo Tuba Yarwa Indigon Kaju Lama Nanlai Zorwan De Rome Jije Yenje Bodani Dezom Sanje Genje Ngonye Ransen Jiga Ngonzon Donzeba Zave Lame Jala Zorwande. Good morning, everyone. So now we're going to the 37 practice of Bodhisattva. We are at verses 12. We finished the verses 11. 37 practice of Bodhisattva, so homage to Avalokiteshvara. And then also we have to know the practice of 37 Bodhisattva. This all Buddhas come from, arise from accomplishing the excellent teaching. So that's the reason this depends on knowing the practice 37 Bodhisattva. That's why we have to study 37 practice of Bodhisattva. So then main teaching has 37 verses. We are in the 12. We finish 11. The 11 verses is a very important section. So all suffering comes from wish for your own happiness. Perfect Buddhas are born from the thought to help others. Therefore, exchange your own happiness for the suffering of others. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Last week we finished the verses 11, correct? But actually, verses 11, we went through like kind of more gross level, not let that deter much. It's this verses 11 is we can go more deeper, then go into also all the way of Bodhisattva's teaching. So this 11 is very profound. How do we create our haramane for other beings and create compassion for other beings, and then change our ordinary mind, change it to the become Bodhisattva's mind. So followed by many different levels, depending our individual level, create practice compassion. So we think about this, recognize suffering come from the wish for your own happiness, and due to our self-grasping, so we always have this wishing our own happiness due to self-grasping. Not easy to give up that part. So that is the hardest part, because due to our self-grasping, we always wishing our own happiness. So long as we have wishing our own happiness, then that's also have two different levels. You know, some is negative, some can be positive too. Wishing our own happiness. Wishing our own happiness is not always negative, dependent, right? So today we come here also gathering together. You wanted to listening this 37 practice Bodhisattva. That's also actually wishing our own happiness too. But that is a positive, I think, wishing our own happiness. So then negative wishing our own happiness is like due to the ignorance and create the causes of suffering. So that's the directly, causes of suffering is like negative for our own benefits. Many people, beings, the samsaric beings, always wishing our own happiness, but create the causes of suffering because due to ignorance. So now we have self-grasping. Due to that, not easy to give up everything. So as our first level step is positively create our own benefit, positively, not negative our own benefits, positive our wishing our own benefits. So that is this. Also, we usually every day, come to practicing, meditate. That's all is like we have a positive our own benefits. So use that, then you come take to us in the free from our own happiness. So first step, we need the positive our own happiness. Do you understand what I'm talking? Yes. So we cannot jump to right away say I'm not going to do anything wishing my own happiness. Then that is not possible, because until we don't have realized until first premier level Bodhisattva, so we cannot give up that. And that's the reason our beginners always first, step is our own benefit is used for positive one, positive our own benefits. Then that takes to us to free from our own benefits, become no wishing our own benefits. Perfect Buddhas are born from the thought to help others. Then, so we recognize all these Buddhas come from. Where is it come from, Buddhas? Buddhas come from the thought to help others, good intention. So selflessness. Then that is the Buddhas arise come from. Selflessness meditation is directly antidote to self-grasping. So we have to meditate and practice this, perfect Buddha born from the thought to help others. First, our step is we meditate the selflessness of a person, and then that helps goes up to more deeper is called selflessness of phenomena meditation. So in this section, when we read this, the verses of e-living, same time also we have to cultivate, meditate. So this good intention is not easy to arise. That's good intention is called precious bodhicitta. Is hard to arise in our mind because due to our self-grasping. So we harder to arise for our mind. That's the reason we have these opening prayers, taking refuge and taking the Bodhisattva vows. Every day we try to cultivate again and again. And then when we go to main practice, so we have to cultivate, meditate. Meditation, most powerful is, I think, is the selflessness of a person. So you look to yourself, where is I, where is the self? You really cannot find any place on your body, located I and self. You just meditate like crown to feet, search where's I, where and the self. You cannot find I and the self. So that meditation helps become less selfish. Then also that meditation helps arise compassion for others. Because we are stuck in samsara due to the self-grasping. This selflessness of meditation, you use that meditate, really recognize I and the self is not exist. It is a delusion, but due to our ignorance, we didn't recognize selflessness of person. We always thinking I and the self is a permanent and exist. So due to that, this samsaric beings endless suffering in samsara. So we meditate the selflessness of person ourselves, then you see the I, self is not exist, then also you recognize other beings. Everyone, like same as us, self, I is not exist, but due to ignorance, then no one recognize. That's why it's create causes of suffering in samsara. Every being's stuck in samsara. So long as stuck in samsara, no one free from suffering. We cultivate, meditate the selflessness of a person really helps recognize ourselves, recognize true nature, and also can release our emotions. Then also arise compassion for others. So then that helps perfect Buddha born from the thoughts to help others. Arise compassion for others, then you have wanted to benefit for others, wanted to help something, like other beings. So you can use many different methods helping for others. Helping for others also, like depend our individual level and also the other beings, what they really need and how can we benefit. You really understanding how to help them. If you meditate selflessness of a person, you have more wisdom and less selfish ourselves. That helps how to benefit others, because we have more wisdom. Long as we have more wisdom, we know how to help for others. There's sometimes, without wisdom, helping for others is create causes of suffering each other. So long as you have wisdom, you know how to benefit for others. So this, wisdom method is always have to comes together, not separate. Means wisdom bring the method bring the wisdom. Wisdom is a causes of method is causes of wisdom. Long as you have wisdom, love, compassion arise. So that's called method. Long as you have love, compassion, your wisdom is arise. So long as you have these two, then the benefit ourselves and the benefit for others. Okay, so therefore exchange your own happiness. So exchange our own happiness. Then it's also followed by dependent individual level. Exchange has so many different levels of exchange. Beginners exchange happiness, like you can exchange right hand to giving left hand to giving right hand. That's also exchange too. So that depending, everyone has something, they suitfully have a practice, different levels. Exchange, then if you can use that practice like right hand, give left hand, give right hand, become that is a strong, and then you can give up, some thing not that important object you can give up, use that, become strong and strong, then you can give up everything one day. So exchange your own happiness also many different methods, material things we can giving up. Also we can do use like called Tongli meditation too. Exchange means Tongli meditation. This Buddhist many teachings all is practice our own mind. That is most important than comparing to the object. Object, you're giving up something, but mind is not ready, then that's you actually become hurt ourselves and no benefit for others too sometimes, if you get regret or something, That's the reason we always have to practice our own mind. This exchange also, we can practice our own mind and use the called Tongli meditation. Tongli meditation is exchanging, is use a special method, cultivate love and compassion. So that's the many practitioners use that, and then that helps them remove the selflessness and become the person is realized or compassion or become happy like that, because they use the Tongli meditation. Tongli meditation is not that hard to do. If long as we have a mindful awareness, long as you have like compassion, then Tongli meditation is not that hard to practice. But for our case, the hard Tongli meditations, we don't have enough love, compassion, and not enough mindful awareness. If long as we have a mindful awareness, it's compassion. So then when we see the other people who are someone who are suffering, people or animals, anyone, you can see the sufferings. So you can use that object and then meditate, cultivating Tongli meditation, use our breath. Use our breath is called Tong, means giving, Lin means taking. So Tong means love, Lin means actually compassion. Giving is love, taking is compassion. Use our breath. Breath is our support for that meditation. Breath helps supporting. When you exhale, sending love for other. When you inhale, practice compassion, taking others' suffering. So that is a special method. Many meditators use that. When you see someone suffering, and then you can use that method that benefit us, benefit them too, because everything is interdependent connections. Yeah. So example, someone suffering, and so due to like many, of course, suffering is many different kind of sufferings due to the circumstances. You physically doing something helping them, usually, like people who don't know how to meditate practice, that's temporary benefit. But practitioners use Tongli meditation, that more benefit for future life. And like remove some causes of suffering. Our ordinary people helping for others is only we can help is temporary. So meditators, practitioners helping for future lives. That's the difference is. If someone is due to something wrong and suffering, so ordinary people go to the person and what they need, some temporary benefit for that person. The meditators use the Tonglen meditation. And how to use the Tonglen meditation when they first taking in here, then Tonglen meditation also has many different levels there too. The main point is kindness, yeah. So who practice the Tonglen meditation must have to have a compassion and love. So otherwise, just Tonglen meditation means it's just words, not really that kind is benefit for other, not benefit us. So long as you have really compassion, and then you can use that Tonglen meditation really benefit that other being and benefit us. So first the lean is taking, first taking. When you going to inhale, and then the persons like, anyone like animal or human beings who's suffering, so you taking their suffering in with your own breath in here, and then exhale, sending love to that person. That is like love, compassion. Inhale with love, taking the other suffering, and exhale is giving love for that other beings. So use that meditate practice. Arise compassion in your mind more strong and strong. So you're taking others' suffering. So that's depending which kind of suffering that person has. If you use that object taking in, and through the compassion, you are free from that kind of suffering future life too. So example, someone is a hunger. So you see that someone is a hunger, you're taking their suffering in through the compassion. Our future life free from hunger. And then exhale, sending love to that person, wishing they're free from, suffering, wishing that person has happiness. Yeah. When you're taking in free from suffering, that person, and sending exhale, so wishing that person has happiness. And then use that method, you create your compassion, so that object is actually helping us. Object, someone who's suffering, right? So then due to that person also get benefit too, because it's interdependent, causes connections there. Yeah. So we cannot remove right away the suffering, result of suffering, but at least we can help create causes of happiness for the others. So that's the reason we cultivate this Tonglen meditation using the Herren beings. We first learn listening, teaching about the Herren beings, the different kind, 18 different kind of Herrens. So we learn that, study, and then kind of like your imagination appear to your mind, the suffering. Then you use that, become Tonglen meditation with the Herren beings. So that helps arise compassion, very become strong and strong our mind. So you focus with the head realms, practice, meditate tongli, that meditation power benefit is future we are not going to reborn to the head realms. Because that karma is we removing, purifying that karma. And then also you use that practice and or some reasons like of course like some maybe our relatives, friends, someone loved ones in the head realms, also they can benefit too. Because it's always comes cause connections, interdependent. Then we can use like hungry ghost, yeah. So we cultivate a hungry ghost. They're suffering. Hungry ghost has many different kind of hungry ghost. Not same situation. So many different kind hungry ghost. So you cultivate, meditate, the Tongli meditation, and that meditation helps remove our hungry ghost karma. We're not going to reborn to the hungry ghost. And the same thing, then we can use object is animal realm. We can use object is human beings. And we can use object is jealous gods realms. 6 realm beings, object, use Tongli meditation. So that meditation helps free from 6 realms karma. It's using, it's called special method, different method, not just same like usually we practice love and compassion. The Tongli exchange is called special method. The many practitioners does that, it's benefit their own and benefit for others. So basic Tongli meditation, you taking others' suffering and sending love to others. So then it's another level, Tongli meditation, more practitioner, like meditator, example, who knows selflessness of a person. That kind of practitioners, Tongli meditation is more deeper level, not just gross level. Tongli meditation also has a gross level Tongli meditation, more deeper level Tongli meditation. So higher level practitioners go more deeper Tongli meditation. When they're in here, so you're seeing other beings who are suffering, they are delusion, no exist. Recognize, emptiness in here. And the sending X here is like realize emptiness. That's also another like levels, high level meditators using, it's called the wisdom Tongli meditation. Wisdom is like realize no exist other beings. So use that is called wisdom Tongli meditation. Then some Tongli meditators not taking the other beings suffering. So this is the Khenpo Minser, he shared Garchen Rinpoche in the present that time, it's different method. What Khenpo Minser, he told Garchen Rinpoche, when you're taking in, within here is other beings causes of suffering, is grasping. You taking other beings grasping in, yeah. X here is the same, is love, compassion, sending to others. So that meditation is a little bit different, cultivated thinking. First you think about these all beings. You really have to meditate like beings not really exist, inherently not exist. But due to ignorance, right, self-grasping, these beings not recognized. And that's the reason we are samsaric beings stuck in samsara. So you cultivate that and all beings not exist. Then why these beings stuck in samsara? Because due to self-grasping. Why these beings suffering in samsara? Due to self-grasping. So now this Tongli meditators, when close eye and in here, taking the other or this, you can use specific individual beings too, or generally. And with in here, taking that person or beings, causes of suffering is self-grasping, taking in self-grasping. So their meditate is like taking in is like drinking something, you drink something. You drinking like you drink others self-grasping. They visualize, meditate, and the gasoline oil, oil, like something, gasoline oil, you're taking in to your body. And then the meditators also visualize and meditate in your navel level, the fire flame. So this is Khenpo Mensa, he shared the Gachin Rinpoche, fire flame, you meditate fire flame in your navel. And then when you're taking in other beings, causes of suffering is self-grasping, taking in, we meditate like taking into like gasoline oil, something like that, into your body. Then the gasoline oil is stuck, attached with like fire flame, then explosion, right? It's all the self-grasping is burned. So, and then self-grasping gasoline oil is get the fire is of course is like heat, and explosion fire is heat. So then meditate that is like hot. Heat is using the love, sending to others. When you send it to others, that's heat. Is go to others. Other self-grasping is like you meditate is like same as ice block, right? So then ice block and heat is attached, heat melting the ice block. So other beings self-grasping is melting, and dissolving, and self-grasping is remove or despair. You visualize like that, and then you exhale, taking self-grasping, and that self-grasping create, actually fire, love and compassion. So love and compassion is the same as a heat to send to others. Other is like other beings due to self-grasping is ice block. So love, compassion, heat, melting, self-grasping, and then you inhale again. So use that method. It's Khenpo Mensa he sharing Garchen Rinpoche. I think you heard that before. So that is, I think, is more kind of more deeper level, also more powerful meditation too. Usually, Tongli meditation, say we taking others' suffering, sending love for others. So that's the Tongli generally. And this just right now I share with you what Khenpo means he shared with Garchen Rinpoche, taking self-grasping. Self-grasping is become create love, compassion, heat. And that sending to others, melt others self-grasping. Do you understand? Okay, so that's where you can use this exchange meditation. It's more, I think, powerful. But we need a mindful, otherwise awareness, otherwise we always forget. We have this very special method, practice, teachings, but when we're ready to use, we always forget. Yeah. So that's why we need mindful and awareness. Long as you have mindful awareness, object is always there. You can see many other beings suffering all the time. So you can just watch a television, maybe news, example, then natural disasters. Yeah, it's violence or war and the fightings, so many going on. So just watch and then turn off the TV and meditate. If you're watching and then meditate is hard. First you watch and then meditate, turn off the TV. So that's also, if you don't go out much, you don't see much others suffering, so you can watch the news and use that. And also great too. Okay, so that is the Tongli meditation, and exchange your own happiness for the suffering of others. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So Bodhisattvas are taking others' suffering and giving their own happiness for others. Exchange. Exchange has so many different kind, practice levels. So that's the exchange. Yeah. Not easy. It's very hard. Only meditation is you use like mentally is better. If you go to action, it's hard because you can be lost. First, you have to create our mentally strong. Then you do action. It's okay, but you don't have a mentally practice. You do the action, you lost. You create the causes of suffering yourself. First, we have to use our mentally this practice. Then we go to verses 11. So these are the Bodhisattvas, exchange. They can give happiness for others. They can take others' suffering. Then how to do this? Also the 12, also the exchange. How to exchange these Bodhisattvas. Even if someone out of a strong desire stirs all your word or has it stolen, dedicate to him your body, possessions, and your virtue, past, present, and future. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So this is the exchange, Bodhisattvas. It's, this kind level is only, I think, is absolute truth. Bodhisattvas has this kind of, I think, this practice, realization. But for our beginner, we have to cultivate this. Not yet action, okay? Action, not yet. If you do the action, we are die, not benefit others. Same is like when you put the seeds in the ground, that seeds not ready to medicine provided for others. First, you protect the seeds. Use the sun, water, earth, warm things, everything, condition, use that. Then the seeds become tree, big tree. Then you can give like fruit for others, benefit others. So right now we are same as the seeds. Bodhisattva seeds we have. Seeds is not ready to give to others. Okay? If you seeds give it to others, then no more benefit again. Die. Do you understand example? So seeds put in the ground, let a rise tree first, tree, branches, okay, flowers or fruit. Then this each leaf has medicine, can recover for others' illness. So that you take the leaves, you take the fruit, but still tree is there. So more you can generate leaf and fruit again and again for benefit others. If you care the seeds, then seeds is like cannot benefit many others, only just maybe one person, that's it, done, dead. So that's the example. Beginners, Bodhisattvas, this part is no, Buddhas never ever give to do this. Okay? Buddha said just cultivate, meditate, and we do the aspiring, wishing this kind, one day we have this kind of courage to benefit others. Okay, so no, even if someone out of a strong desire stirs all your word as it is stolen, so if we stolen all others' word, then what are we going to do? We can dedicate for others? Not possible, right? So we're going to call the police, maybe. Of course, like everyone going to call police. Then find out if you really find who's stolen, try to put in the jail. Yeah. So you get back whatever you lost. And that is all ordinary people, everyone does like that. So these Bodhisattvas, even if someone out of a strong desire still or your word or has it stolen, they don't call the police. Okay, they don't chasing them. They let go for dedicating for that person, for others. If we have that level, then that is called Bodhisattva. But when you do that, not affected in your mind really happy to do that. Rejoice. Not just say, okay, let go. Still you're suffering, not like that. Yeah. If your knows your lost things, you cannot get back, but your mind is suffering, same time you say, okay, let go, benefit, just your intention and your mind is still not go together. So Bodhisattva's intention and mind is together means like they're happy. They're not affected what they lost. They never affected their happiness mind. But then there who take that, who's stolen from the Bodhisattvas, then dedicate for that what they lose, they're wishing the benefit for that person. That is wishing the no causes of suffering. That Bodhisattvas wishing that no get karmic imprint that person, not only this life, future lives. So giving up 100% and still there wishing that person have causes of happiness. No causes of what they lose, there no causes of suffering, that no causes of also suffering in the future life, karmic imprints, death karmic imprints. So Bodhisattvas 100% do the dedication for them. So then that is the Bodhisattvas. So this verses 11 is wonderful for us, for beginners, our ordinary people. How to do that? We don't have like same as Bodhisattva's level, but you can be lost many things during your life. You can be lost many things. You can be lose like maybe your iPhone, you can be lose your money, you can be lose your jewelry, you can be lose your car, you can be lose your house. So many things you can be lose. Even you can be lose husband, wife, or kids, many things, right? In the samsara situation, you can be lose many things. So when you lose something, you know you cannot get back. So think about these verses. Cultivate. That really helps. You are not stuck with suffering. These verses benefit that time. You can get your own experience. Something when you lose, you cultivate these verses, that really benefit your mind. Whatever you lose, that is become no causes of suffering. So become whatever you lose is causes of happiness, future life, because you do dedicate for others. Yeah. So then it's become your generosity practice. This each I just told you that each verses has depending individual level has practice individual level. High realizer also need these verses. Good meditator practitioner also need these verses. Beginners also need these verses. Individually, they can benefit their own level. Use these verses. So, even someone out of strong desire stirs, or your word, or has it stolen, dedicate to him your body, possession, and your virtue. So we dedicate, our all also not only losing whatever we lose that object. With dedication means like whatever I done something good things, also I dedicate for that person. It's very powerful. This verses. Some people who don't know this kind of practice, they lose something, extremely suffering, create causes of suffering, harming each other, so much suffering. So who knows these verses, they lose something, they use these verses, cultivate, they're no suffering, no stuck with suffering. Okay, whatever they lose, and then if you really use correctly, become whatever you lose is for generosity, for pay our death karmic imprints, like previous life, something we have to pay back death karmic imprints. So no, we think about, okay, this is my death karmic imprints, pay for them. So give up, and so let go is let go self-grasping. So become all that is helps us our meditate and practice. So whatever we lost, that is not really lost. That has become actually, create accumulation merit future life. That's the practitioners use special method, because we pay karmic debt and karmic imprint, something previous life have to pay back that karmic imprints. So you pay back that, and also same time you cultivate that is for generosity and dedication for others. You use that is become generosity for others, offering for others. So that's we have to cultivate again and again, meditate. So I just told you, like in our life, can be lose anything, different kind of situation arise. So you cultivate this really helps. Okay, possessions and your virtue, past, present, and future. This practice of bodhisattvas. And then this kind, the verses has many stories. Bodhisattvas also lose their things, and they give up everything, dedicated for them. Many stories. Okay, so then we go to the verses 13. Even if someone try to cut over your head when you haven't done the slightest things wrong, out of compassion, take all these misdeeds upon yourself. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. So we don't do anything wrong, but some people really try to hurt us, harm for us. Then we have to use these verses, cultivate these verses. Even we don't do anything wrong, someone try to harm for us. Of course, harming for us is many different kind of situations too. So someone harming for us. Some others harming to you, then you have to use these verses. See, something you lose, you use this verses 12. Someone harming to you, you use this verses 13. Even someone try to cut over your head, but not many going to cut your head, but some people just going to different ways harming to you. They use the words, or they use the physically, or they use different method, ways, going to harm to you. When you haven't done this slight things wrong, even you don't do anything wrong. If something we do wrong, so you have to recognize, we have to recognize that and regret, and they also purify that negative karma too. Yeah. So something done we wrong, so due to that, someone going to harm for us, and then we have to accept what we doing the wrong, so we have to accept. And we can do the confession, so practice Vajrasattva, or practice many different teachings, so you can use this method. Then sometimes we don't do anything wrong, but some due to the emotion, jealousy, usually the jealousy, due to that, they're going to harm us. So then what we have to do? Out of compassion, take all his misdeeds upon yourself. Okay, so we create, generate compassion for that person. So then, compassion take all his misdeeds, so that we taking this, the person's negativity, they create causes of suffering. That suffering we take us. So that is hard to do, ordinary people. We have the story, like kept the ship, how to say, ship captain, right? Ship captain. The boats went to the ocean, so many people in there. Yeah, that's called ship captain, right? The guide. Okay, boat captain or ship captain. So Buddha Shakyamuni, he was reborn to ship captain. This is a long time, his previous lifetime. And we shared that many stories, many times I shared that stories. Like, it's one guy, his name is Manandong Tongji, is like very strong, tall, is not good intention person, also bought in the ship too. So he hid the weapon and wanted to kill everyone in the ship. So there are 900 people in the ship. The ship captain is called Depon Hinji Chenpo. He has very strong compassion person. He recognized that Manandong Tongji, he going to kill this 900 people. He recognized. So then ship captain didn't kill him right away, just he cultivate. If this guy going to kill 900 people, so that karma, he going to reborn to hell realms, many lifetimes of suffering. So he arise very strong compassion to that person, not anger, hatred to that person. So then what ship captain did, he's out of his compassion, he said, I'm going to take all his misdeeds. I'm going to go lower realms. I take his, misdeeds suffering. So I'm going to kill him, because killing him is I'm taking his suffering. Yeah. So he has very strong compassion arise from the ship captain. Then ship captain killed that person before that person going to kill 900 people. Ship captain killed that person. So because due to the compassion, the taking all his misdeeds upon himself, shape-shifting. So actually killing is negative, non-virtuous deeds. But due to the shape-shifting's compassion, it's become that is the causes of happiness. And he created so much accumulation merit. So that kind not easy for ordinary people, of course, not possible. Only high-level Bodhisattva has like that. They take others' suffering. You know, they're going to the lower realms. Ordinary people, not possible we can think like that. Then that Bodhisattva also must have to have a higher level Bodhisattvas, at least like first Pimi Bodhisattva's level. Otherwise, they're not possible to take others' suffering, go to lower realms. That's why Buddha, he said, you know, beginners, Bodhisattvas don't act same as the realizer Bodhisattvas. So they can be lost. Here, our, you know, ordinary, our case, someone going to harm for us due to many different situations. So just you read these verses, cultivate again and again, at least you can reduce your anger. Okay? So you can reduce your own anger, then you are free from suffering, easily, temporarily free from suffering. So cultivate these verses, reduce our anger. Anger is purifying. You know, that is called practice. That is a practice. So then reduce our anger, same time also compassion arise. Long as anger is in your mind, your heart, no possible compassion arise. If no compassion, then no possible take all his misdeeds upon yourself. Not possible, right? So that's the reason our beginners, you know, someone humming for us. So just don't do the action right away. Usually our, you know, due to our habituate, someone humming for us, right away, we also get action. Anger arise, and then we do the action. So we fight for others. So then create the causes of suffering each other. Meditators, practitioners, so this who practice 37 practice Bodhisattva, when someone harm for us, so at least think about these verses. No action right way, right? So you cultivate these verses, like you can calm down yourself. You don't action right way arise, so you can calm down yourself. When you calm down yourself, then you can meditate and cultivate these verses again and again. You can release your anger. Then when your anger is go away, your mind is become get peace. Your mind is become peace, then you can cultivate more again. So compassion for others. Then you can cultivate compassion. So you can think about, oh, this other person is due to the ignorance. You know, due to ignorance, due to emotions. So that's why this person going to harm me, harming me and harming for others. So that person didn't have how to say the person others like harm for us is they don't have independent, or they don't control themselves. They don't have a choice because due to emotion control the person. So your wisdom can see the emotion and that person is separate. Then you arise compassion that person because that person is controlled by emotions. See, that takes step by step, you have to cultivate. So right away, you cannot take all his misdeeds, not possible. Oh, you harm me, okay, I take your misdeeds. That is only just words, not possible. No one can do that. That's the reason we have to listening, teaching first, and cultivate again and again, right? Then when you get this situation, someone going to harm to you, so you don't do right way action, so you cultivate these verses in your mind, and then you can calm down yourself, you get peace yourself. Then long as you have become peace, you can cultivate compassion. Cultivate compassion, you really recognize other person is emotion controlled. So you see that, then arise compassion for others. Okay, so that time then you take all his misdeeds upon yourself. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. That time we have become the Bodhisattva. Okay, so this is the verses 13. Someone going to harm for us. Think about these verses. Next verses 14. So this of course also due to others, emotions and harming for us, the speech is more speech, not physically, and mentally. This is a speech. Even if someone broadcasts all kinds of unpleasant remarks about you throughout the 3,000 words, in return with a loving mind, speak of his good qualities. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. The verses 14, if someone broadcasts all kinds of unpleasant remarks about you throughout the 3,000 words, so someone telling you, unpleasant, right? Remarks about you, telling you you are bad or something, like telling you, even you don't do any wrong, but telling you, so they're telling you or you are stroller, kind of a thief, or they say you are thief, you are murderer, killing some others, or like many different kind of ways there can broadcast. So this is just the speech, like usually we use this social media, so telling the bad words. So there's a lot used in the politicians each other, right? We know politicians each other. And then of course many people also, due to the emotions, and they don't really recognize what they're doing, so they also use this too. Even someone broadcasts all kinds of unpleasant remarks about you through all the 3,000 words. So what are you going to do? And you read these words also helps, not really anger to that person. You can easily control your anger. The words has very strong, it's sharp, same as the knife. Words is the same as a knife that can destroy the person's mind and heart. So then that is like people who don't know use this kind of practice. The word is very sharp, same as a knife, destroy your heart. So someone who knows this practice, then the words doesn't really destroy you. Your peace, your happiness never destroy. Otherwise, these people really going to destroy your happiness. Not only you just destroy your reputation and other things, also destroy your peace and happiness, your mind, peace and happiness. So meditators, whatever they hear this kind of words, and then they're not strongly fixation to the words. No strongly fixation to the words. So it's like many different kind of practice. That's the reason we chant the mantras, mantra and the prayers. This is the biggest can create the causes of suffering each other. This also create negativity, strong negative deeds. That's the reason we always chant the mantra, practice different kind of prayers, chanting, because purifying our speech karma. And we are reborn in samsara many lifetimes. Some we know, some we don't know. Sometimes we think what we're saying is correct. Sometimes we know even it's incorrect, but due to our desire attachment, we try to use the words for harm for others. So that kind of karma we have already many lifetimes. That is strongest, we create karma, human beings, ordinary beings, because always use words, speech. Then how to the purify karma, that's the reason many mantras practice. And this also another method here. Someone broadcasts all kinds of unpleasant remarks about for us. We can meditate many different levels too. So some is of course, think about we do to previous life karma. That person is saying these things for me. So now you thinking about my karma, that also helps too. So you think, oh, I am purifying my karma. So that person telling us bad words, whatever that saying things, you accept and okay, I did this kind of things for others many lifetimes. So accept, purify my karma. And then who's saying these negative things, you not really hatred to that person become. That person actually recognize you, oh, he helping me, okay? Right? You think that cultivate, purify my karma, then you not really hatred to that person. So that helps actually purify our karma. So ordinary people, someone, this kind of broadcast kind of unpleasant things, and then so strong fixation to the words, and the words is the same as a sharp knife that destroy the peace and the happiness. Then of course anger arises and fighting each other. So create causes of suffering. Bodhisattvas, meditators, the thinking about the cause and the effect, the karma cause and the effect. Then also they cultivate more compassion to that person. Actually, the person doing these things, they really create the causes of suffering their own. They create a karma, big karma for themselves. So you really recognize, and then you can arise compassion to that person. Also, you can do dedication for that person. So that's the Bodhisattvas using these words, cultivate, meditate, practice. Then, of course, these words actually dependent. You also have to recognize this only harm to myself or this harming for many others. Yeah. So you have to use your wisdom. If you only harming to yourself, okay, I'm taking this my karma. You can use that cultivate compassion. And that words really harming for many other beings, no any reasons. Then you have to use method, of course, do use compassion. You have to stop others telling that. So you can use what you know, truly, and use method, and you have to stop that, because otherwise that person create causes of suffering many others, only include themselves too. So that is this time in degeneration time, many problems. This other people due to their some is jealousy, some is attachment, some is anger, this causes of this emotion, use these emotions. They can speak these things for others, they destroy others' life and destroy many other beings' happiness too. So when you recognize that you not hatred to that person, you really use wisdom and through the compassion, taking care of that person. Stop that harming for others. So that's all the Bodhisattva's levels that use method to stop the others harming for others. Okay, so this is even if someone tried, even if someone broadcasts all kinds of unpleasant remarks about you through all 3,000 words, in return with a loving mind, no anger. If you have anger, then you can take care of that situation correctly. Then that is become ordinary person, become used the anger, taking care of that situation. It's ordinary person. That is the causes of suffering each other. And Bodhisattvas, through the compassion, taking care that situation, that is called become Bodhisattva practice, stop the others' negativity, and also you generate compassion for others. Speak of these good qualities. Then this is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So this situation, like always like happening with you, think about it, like your friend, each other, become best friends, like slowly become turned to enemies. They're telling this kind. And so neighbors and your co-workers, kind of this arise from the due to jealousy usually. So you just depending situation, you have to recognize how to take care of that, situation. I mean that you take care right direction. Otherwise, you lose your happiness and also create the causes of suffering each other. Long as we are alive in this samsara, this situation is always comes, goes, all the time. Because long as human beings has these emotions, right now, here sharing this 37 practice, we need, long as beings have emotion, we need this practice. Always this situation comes. As long as you are alive in the samsara, this situation always comes. Today, sharing these different verses like 11, 12, 13, 14, very important sections for our, daily life practice. So now we go to the verses 15. So this is verses 14 and 15 is similar words, but different ways, the recognize. I think verses 15 is a little bit more strong than second 14. Though someone may dread, I think, and speak bad words about you in a public gathering, looking on him as a spiritual teacher, bow to him with respect. This is the practice Bodhisattvas. So someone may dread deride and speak bad words about you in a public gathering. Someone saying things, bad words in the public gathering, or just individually, face to face, or maybe indirectly, or like sometimes like public place, they're telling these bad words about a public gathering. So then what we have to do, we looking on him as a spiritual teacher. That's not possible for our beginners. not possible. Do you? Okay, so then what do we have to do? You cultivate these verses. Even you don't see that person is a really spiritual teacher, but at least you can stop your anger. You know. So who can see spiritual teacher? That means like high practitioner. It's called Bodhisattva level. Maybe already first permit Bodhisattva. Not possible with seeing that person is a teacher. Even your parents, even your friends, loved ones saying something bad words, we cannot see them teacher too. Even spiritual teachers telling you something also not possible, then you no more you seeing spiritual teacher again. Okay. So this only like maybe kind of like during the ancient time, student and the teacher between, you know, a very strong relationship. Then students seeing the, you know, teachers like whatever they do and they still they see the spiritual teacher. So example, Malarepa. Marpa Lotsa, he gave him so much hardship and the difficulties and the public gathering place, you know, Marpa Loza always telling Malarepa is you are murdering, you know, you killing the other people, you know, you are lazy guy. So he telling many these kind of words for, you know, public gathering place, but Malarepa always recognize he is a spiritual teacher. But other people cannot see then spiritual teaching again, teacher again, you know. So then not possible. We even spiritual teacher tell us like this, we not seeing spiritual teacher again anymore. Done, right? So ordinary people telling like this kind of for us, never ever possible can we see that person is a spiritual teacher. Yeah. So that is like all this historically, many practitioner, meditator has this kind of a like, you know, understanding or level of this knowledge and patience. But ordinary people first no patience. So no patience, then how can recognize someone telling you bad, you know, words about your public gathering? Not possible to seeing that person is a spiritual teacher. So now what we have to do, this verses 50, you of course listening, teaching, cultivate again and again. One day, someone telling you bad words in front of people, so you can control your anger, I think. If you have these verses in your mind, you can control your anger. You just stay back and cultivate this, and then maybe you recognize your problem. Like example, like we recognize our own problem. Yeah. Oh, so I did something. That's why that person is doing, you know, telling me these bad words. So that words is become pointing our own problem. Then you really see our own problem. That person is like, okay, he is a teacher or she is a teacher, right? So you can cultivate the thing that even you not accept easily, but you can cultivate your mind. So that helps become no clash or no fighting each other. So you recognize what our own problem, and then we not to control by our own anger. So you don't create our own anger yourself. And so that's really helps become recognize our own problem. And sometimes even we don't have our own problem, but someone telling these bad words in the front of public gatherings. So maybe you just meditate, cultivate impermanent, impermanent, or you just can think about that person is like, okay, it's 100% emotion controlled. Yeah. So you cultivate these things, many different situations, bring your different kind of method. Then anger is not arise in your mind. But we cannot stop that person's words, but no anger in your mind. Then if this is a kind of in the public gathering, you can speak, okay, clearly give information, like whatever the message, what you wanted to say, you can clearly give it to them, because no anger in your mind. You saying words has power, is truth. Then you also have wisdom to dealing with that situation. Rather anger the others, you can give truth information for others. So that's a kind of many like situations we can stuck with this kind of situation. You can use these words and cultivate, really helps become no anger arise in your mind. So it's a dependent situation. Sometimes you can see that person is a teacher, sometimes that person is, maybe you don't see the teacher, but you can cultivate a love of compassion to that person. Even you cannot do that, but you can stop your own anger. You can share the truth for others. So anger comes, then we also lost too. First, who going to telling these kind of words, that person is controlled by emotion already. Then you hear these words and you also controlled by emotion. Then both are crazy become. Two crazy person comes together, no successful. Yeah, both are become crazy. So then we don't have to crazy ourselves, maybe use these words, cultivate ourselves. And some other is crazy, you really recognize other one is crazy. You don't fight with the crazy people, right? So like some mental problems and crazy, you dealing totally use different method. So that's verses 15 really helps you, your life. Make sense or no? Okay. My laptop is too hot. I don't know, some reasons. Make noisy. He also lose patience. My laptop also lose patience too. So now next one, verses 18. Verses 18 is, through your light, lack what you need and are constantly disparaged, afflicted by dangerous sickness and spirits.
Khenpo, you missed 16.
Oh, I missed 16?
16 and 17, yes.
We just finished.
Oh, yeah, I see. What happened here?
I don't know.
Okay, 16, 17. Even if a person for whom you have care like your own child regards you as an enemy, cherish him specially like a mother does her child who is stricken with the sickness. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. So this also different situation. See, even if a person for whom you have care like your own child, you really care that person, same as your own child, regards you as an enemy. So many like that, like this time, the kids really hate parents too. Then of course, like some your friends, loved ones become your enemies. Then how to you dealing with them, how to take care with them if they're happening like that. So cherish him, especially like a mother does her child who is stricken with sickness. So you cultivate more compassion for that person. So it's especially like a mother does her child who is stricken with sickness. So mothers who love the child has sickness, disease, something, problem. So mother love more that person, taking care of that person. So like that, and someone you love ones become your enemy. Even you don't do really bad things for them, but some reasons they're your enemy, then you use this method. So you really recognize that person is mental problem, sickness, due to the emotions. And then you arise like more compassion for that person, not really anger, hatred to that person. Otherwise, you really get upset because you did great things for that person. You take care of that person, you love that person, they become that person, change to be your enemy, and you really get upset, and that affect your mind, lose your happiness. So many like these situations, in the world, sometimes like see, loved ones, each other become enemies. So many like that, right? So change it to become enemies. Then, of course, like parents and the kids relationship also change. It's become enemies, each other. So that time then ordinary people always create the causes of suffering each other, harming each other. So meditator practitioners have to use this verses 16. You read this verses, cultivate, your loved ones become changed to enemy. You really see that person is controlled by emotion. It's same as like mental problem, sickness. So then you become not hatred to that person. They don't destroy your happiness. So that cannot affect your happiness. That you really see that person's suffering, then you arise compassion to them, that person. So that verses is really benefit. When that kind of situation we have, you cultivate this practice, then that situation not really become harm your mind, not create causes of suffering, not create emotions yourself. So you can use these words and arise more compassion for that person, others, your loved ones. Your loved ones become enemy, they're harming to you. So you have to cultivate these verses again and again. So then the loved ones become enemy, they're not going to affect you. Make sense or no? That situation where everyone, not just most people, many people has this kind of situations. Loved ones become changed to enemy. Enemies become changed to loved ones. Everything is impermanent. So one day your loved ones, you really care someone, it's become your enemy, you have to cultivate these verses. So that helps you not lose your happiness. That's all is actually protection, our protection, truth protection, absolute truth protections. The bodhicitta is absolute truth protection. The bodhisattva is become courage person, like we say heroes, heroines. Because there has bodhicitta, there has protection, bodhicitta protection. They don't get suffering, stuck in the samsara with same as other people. Then we go to verses 17. If an equal or inferior person disparages you out of pride, place him as you would your spiritual teacher, with respect on the crown of your head. This is the practice of bodhisattvas. So if an equal or inferior person, some is like your same kind of similar situation, equal or like same job, kind of same job, and the same educations, like whatever you own, like material gains, like similar situations. So that kind of person is due to their pride, become, they push you down and then create you difficulty. So you respect for that person, but not easily respect for that person if we don't cultivate these verses. If you cultivate these verses, then you see, okay, that person is due to actually pride, emotion, control. So let that person doing that, you just not really that much harm to you, not really harming for others, just let be, and you cultivate the same as your spiritual teacher. So that helps become your mind is not controlled by emotions. You don't create causes of suffering again. Can be purify karma. Also, you can create a compassion for that person. Then sometimes like inferior person means like lower than us, right? Someone lower than us. No same as education, same is with you, like you are more better than education, you more has a better life, everything, situation, everything, better life you have than comparing to that person. And so that person is due to the pride, the emotion, ignorance. Then that person, what do you disparage you, so you have to see him the spiritual teacher. But very hard to see the spiritual teacher, but you really cultivate these verses. No anger to that person, you recognize, okay, he or she is something wrong there. So you not really anger and try to fight for the situation. Just let be, let go, right? And just leave there. Or you just have no anger, you can explain to that person without anger. So main point, that kind of person, whatever done for you, you not lose your peace because you not cultivate anger. Then if you really go more deeper level and you recognize that you're seeing that person is a spiritual teacher with respect on crown of your head, so you respect for them. That's the Bodhisattvas does. Bodhisattvas, this kind of people push down and disparages the Bodhisattvas respect for that person. This is the practice of Bodhisattvas. Then we go to the verses 18. Okay, so now time is finished. So we leave it there today. Finish the 17. 18 is starting tomorrow. Okay, so now first we go to the prayer. Then when we finish the prayer, after you can ask questions. So if you have, we can discussion. Prayer, Chinrezai. Page 26. The Deity Yoga Sadhana. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Sure, at my own mind, with the mind alone, with nothing to identify, it is just like space. With nothing whatsoever to see vividly clear. In that essence which is emptiness, I remain. Ranga semla semjeti nizong me pe nam kandra jeyang mandong sangye wa owo tongba nye de ne omane pe me hongro 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 Omane pe me hongro. Out of that experience of unimpeded emptiness, appearances arise unobstructed and vividly clear, without bias or pervasive uncompounded, and with the nature of a clear light, how wonderful. Tomba Sandar Nganye Le Nawa Manga Sale Rimi Kincham Dima Se Ranje Ozar Ngom Sara Che Oman Peme Hong Roma Oman Peme Hong Roma 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 Oman Peme Hong Roma Peme Hong clear yet empty and empty yet clear. Clarity and emptiness indivisible beyond thoughts and expression. This and the genuine state of perfect bliss is the automatic Lord Avalokiteshvara. Sarjen Don La Don Yen Sardon Yermi Samjutra Lenji Nyoma De Jen De Nidon Jinre Ziwang Yen Oman Peme Hong Roman Peme Hong Roman Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Page 157, Kaju lineage dedication prayer. Deity Yoga Sadhana. Dorjen Chang, Telopa, Naropa, Marpa, Malarepa, Dharma Lord Gambopa, Pamotopa and Lord Digongpa, please bestow upon us most auspicious blessing of all Kaju Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve omniscience, by defeating all enemies confusion. May all who travel on the webs of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent precious mind, where it is unborn may it arise, where it is born may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray the Lama may have a good health, I pray the Lama may have a long life, I pray that your Dharma activities separate far and wide, I pray that I may not be separate from you. As Manjushri Vero realized the automatic state and as did Samantabhadra, I will follow in the path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddhas who attain the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the invisible Sangha order, may the merit I shall bear fruit. By this virtue collected in the three terms, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by any rule of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of Guru Digompa Renashiri, wholesome nation, Lord of Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation, enter into of the samsara. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
again la.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sangha Allah in Kampala.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you.
Khenpo, may I ask a question?
Yes, Laming.
When we practice meditation, either toning or meditate on the person who's our enemy, we treat him as a Buddha or her as a Buddha in our mind. Is it all pretense? Because I do have a friend have a lot of difficulty with her supervisor. So she said that she treats her supervisor like her guru on top of her crown and everything. And then later I found out actually she was very angry with her teacher, her supervisor. So I thought, oh, those practice is not solid. It's just pretend. So is it when we were like giving love or taking suffering, is it all just pretend? It doesn't have any substantial value?
So sometimes it can be pretending, sometimes really you're doing correctly. So yes, we have to learn to do through that way. You know, sometimes you see someone really suffering and you have compassion, you wanted to do something. So you can cultivate, meditate, tonglen, you know, really helps you. And that compassion, you know, become, you can feel yourself something like power of that meditation. Sometimes like you use that, maybe not ready to use for some your enemies. Better use some suffering people.
Okay, because to me, I feel that if a practice is a pretend, then we become fake. We are not true practitioner. It's from our heart, from our mind, and from our really deep inside. I really feel suffering. I feel the compassion. That's true. But if I pretend that the enemy as my teacher or something, I think that it's just not Buddhism, because Buddhists always ask to see the truth.
So maybe you just like someone said supervisor is like the recognized the same as a teacher, but some days she or he can do that, but sometimes she cannot do that. Right? We don't know that thing, or just like sometimes they can do, sometimes can't.
So even they are pretend, it's okay.
The pretending also have a positive and a negative too, right? Positive pretending also good, you know. So you can avoid that situation.
But isn't it also lying to yourself, not facing the truth?
Not really lying, but it's you just you can avoid that situation. That is the walking, you know. That practice works for you, become.
Okay.
If the supervisors are not nice, then during that time, if you don't really see the teacher, but you just, okay, he's saying it's like, I don't want to argue and I don't want to fight. And I just recognize he's something, my teacher. You just think that and you just avoid the situation. You are not stuck that situation again.
Okay, I understand.
You don't really see this teacher, but you just helps that, even you cultivate the words helps too.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Khenpo.
If the person is a teacher, then that means you have really good level already.
Yeah, but when she say it, I just immediately feel she's faking it. That's why I didn't feel good about it. But if that's the way she deal with the situation, I can understand that. Yeah.
If the supervisor is even very nice and never supervisor is not nice, but that person say, I practice and he's my teacher. That is a fake.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
practice with the patient with him, that is a fake. But supervisor is not nice, and his or she makes it harder for someone, and that person just avoid the situation, try to cultivate this practice different ways, then that's a works, temporarily works for
Okay.
use that
Okay.
become strong in the storm.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Khenpo
You're
La.
welcome.
Can I ask my question? This is Tess.
Yes.
Hi. I think I'm going to try and just, I've got a lot, but I think I can use the example of the captain. It's pretty commonly used for this particular teaching person's purpose. So I think everybody's kind of a little familiar with it. If the captain's of a level that he can cultivate at that level and not just aspire to, but take action as choosing to truly compassionately take the life of the one for his protection in future lives, the strong man's protection of future lives, and to protect the current lives of the 900. If he has the capacity to do that, he has a multitude of other choices. And in fact, not just a multitude of other choices, but the ethical responsibility as only Buddha can see the outcome of any one person or all of our eventual outcomes to Buddhahood, as getting all the way through karma, all the way through, the realization, that kind of thing. Then isn't he the captain over assuming? He's acting without knowledge. It could be that he takes the life of the strong man. How does he know this, for example, as one example, that the strong man isn't actually acting out of compassion, and that by taking the captain's life and those 900 lives, that he will save them many lives to go through samsara? You see, I mean, that's just the immediate. You can extend that out because, it is said that those you love most in your next life could easily be your enemies, as karma kind of has a way of flipping things like a light switch on you.
Yes. So trust, like you say, that is true. It's correct. It's
this is leading to non-action being the answer. The truth will set you free. So if you know the truth,
not really answer that, but it's dependent situations like
okay,
like mine,
dependent arising, yes.
Intentions are more powerful, no action. So that each situation has a different kind of people, like taking care of the situation due to the intention.
Not to argue with you, Khenpo La, but yes, that's true. But the rules don't change. If you have, this kind of intention or this kind of motivation, then where that leads you, where you will wind up with that does not change. If you truly have cultivated this and are truly compassionate, there, I mean, I don't, maybe this is buried somewhere in Tantra I haven't seen yet. I know Tsongkhapa wrote something about the ethics of Tantra, and it's not like I really dug into it because I don't have enough of a background to understand what I'm reading yet, okay? But there's something about this where, yes, there is kind of a, it's almost a display of as above, so below, as in either side, truth is truth. For whether, truth for ultimate is truth for ultimate, truth for mundane is truth for mundane. That's not to deny that expression, but within that, by the very fact of that, it seems like it would be more apt to support the outcome, say, from somebody who's capable of practicing the highest meditation and just sit.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I was hoping you respond to that to help maybe.
Yes.
I mean, can you explain how it is this captain can make this choice while there are all these other options that are not so extreme?
So,
Buddhism
yes,
avoids this
I
extreme.
really don't know the captain, just that we have a story sharing that, okay? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Khenpo,
Yes.
the example of the seed growing into a tree was very helpful to me today. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so no questions. Then see you tomorrow, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Star shine on. It's a beautiful day.
Thank you, Khenpo. Thank you,
Thank
Sangha.
Forward.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Welcome.
It's beautiful teaching. Thank you.
Indeed beautiful.
Bye-bye, Debbie.